God is saying, don't allow the person who didn't love you keep you from the one who will love you. It's hard to let go of someone who we've loved and cared for in the past. Whether it was a romantic partner or someone we just met, it can be difficult to move on. But sometimes it's best to do what's right for us and allow ourselves to be happy. God is telling you to find someone who will love and care for you, and not let the person who didn't care for you keep you from them. It's important to be true to ourselves and allow ourselves to be happy. Remember, God always has a plan for you and He will help you find the happiness you deserve. Yes, it may be hard at first, but it will be worth it in the end. It's important to remember that love is a journey, not a destination. It's a tough thing to let go of someone we love. The emotions we feel can be intense, and it can be difficult to make the decision to move on. But in the end, if we're not happy, what good is our relationship doing us? So often, we cling to things that are no longer beneficial to us. And that's especially true when it comes to love. It's important to remember that this isn't a permanent state of affairs. We can find happiness with someone who will truly love and care for us. And if we're patient, God always has a plan for us. So remember, be patient and don't let the person who didn't love you keep you from the one who will. You'll be happier in the end. Why it's important to let go of the people who didn't love you. There's a lot of talk about letting go on social media and in our personal lives. But what does this really mean for us? In his book, The 5 Love Languages, Dr. Gary Chapman discusses how we all communicate love in different ways. He believes there are 5 love languages: words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, receiving compliments, and love and time, and that each person primarily loves in one of these ways. For example, someone who primarily expresses love through words of affirmation might feel lost when their partner doesn't return their texts or calls. While it may be difficult to let go of people who didn't love us initially, it's important to remember that we need to give ourselves the freedom to find someone who will truly appreciate and care for us. We all know that breakup is never easy. Whether it's due to a personality mismatch or just a difference in interests, it can be tough to move on from a relationship that didn't work out. But if you're going through the breakup process and staying strong, there are 3 things you need to remember. 1, you are not alone. 2, it will get better. And 3, there is someone who loves you and will always love you. If you're struggling to find the strength to move on, please reach out for help. There are many resources available to help you through this difficult time. Even though it may be hard, sometimes it's important to let go of the people who didn't love you. This can be because those people didn't have a chance to love you properly, and this will ultimately keep you from the one who will truly love you. If you focus on the people who loved you and cared for you, then you will be able to move on and find someone who loves and cares for you in return. Please remember that you are not alone in this process, and there are many resources available to help you through it. I know it can be really tough when someone we love doesn't seem to appreciate us. Whether it's because they're not aware or they just don't care, it can be really hard to deal with. But sometimes, the best thing to do is to let go of them. Why? Because if we don't, we may end up locking ourselves away from the one person who could really love us, the person who does actually care about us. Here are 4 reasons why letting go is important. 1, it allows us to replace someone who didn't love us with someone who will. If we allow someone who didn't love us to keep us from the one who will, we'll only ever end up feeling resentful and bitter. Instead, let go and allow the person who will truly love us into our lives. They'll appreciate all that you've done for them, and you'll finally be able to live a life you deserve. 2, it lets us move on from the situation and get on with our life. When someone doesn't love us, it can be really hard to focus on anything else. But by letting go, we can start moving on and living our lives normally. We don't have to dwell on the past and how things didn't work out. We can focus on the present and what the future holds. 3, it allows us to get rid of the negative emotions we feel. When someone doesn't love us, it can be really hard to get rid of the negative emotions we feel. But by letting go, we can start to heal and eventually move on. This will allow us to live our life to the fullest, free from the burden of these negative thoughts. 4, it shows our partner that we're ready to move on and are committed to them. If we keep holding on to someone who didn't love us, it shows our partner that we're not ready to move on. By letting go, we're demonstrating our commitment to them and showing that we're willing to take the time needed to heal. In the end, it's important to remember that letting go is the best way to ensure that we're always moving forward in our life. Breaking up is never easy, but by focusing on the things that are important to us, we can get through this difficult time. Remember that you are not alone, and there are many resources available to help you through this process. How to move on from those who didn't love you. If someone didn't love you, it can be hard to move on. You may feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of pain and disappointment, but there's something you can do to break the cycle and find happiness again. Here are 5 steps to take. 1, recognize that you're not alone. There are likely millions of people out there who have experienced this pain, and they will all be able to help you through it. Talk to someone about your feelings, whether that's a therapist, friend, or family member. 2. Let go of the past. It's important to remember that the person who didn't love you is gone now and can't ever bring them back. Don't let their actions define your entire relationship with them. Focus on the good times instead. 3. Believe in yourself. When someone doesn't love us, it can make us feel like our worth isn't enough. But remember, you are worthy of love, no matter what happened between you and the person who didn't care for you. 4. Take care of yourself first. If you neglect your own health, emotions will start to take a toll on your body as well. Let yourself heal from the heartache, and then you can start looking for someone new. 5. Move on. Time heals all wounds, and eventually you will be able to find happiness again. Don't wait too long. It can be hard to find someone who loves you for you. Remember, there is always hope. If you find it hard to move on, remember that there are millions of other people who have gone through this same thing and survived. There is someone out there for you, and you will find them if you keep looking. What to do if the person who didn't love you keeps coming back into your life? If you've been struggling to get out of a relationship with someone who didn't love you, here are a few tips to help. 1. Remember that it was never meant to be. If someone doesn't love you, it's not your fault. Give yourself permission to move on. 2. Stay away from those who keep bringing them up. It's tempting to keep going back to them even though you know they don't care about you and only want to hurt you again. But resisting temptation is key in getting over this person. Let them have their misery and stay away from them. 3. Find someone who loves you for who you are and accepts you for who you are, no matter what happened in the past. Once you find that person, hang on tight. They'll make everything worthwhile. 4. Reach out to a support group or therapist to help you through this difficult time. They can offer advice, comfort, and guidance as you work through the healing process. God has a plan for your life, and it doesn't include letting the person who didn't love you keep you from the one who will. If someone didn't care about you enough to stick around when things got tough, then they weren't really worth your time in the first place. Don't let them prevent you from finding someone who will appreciate everything you have to offer. There's someone out there for you, and you're worth taking the time to find them. You deserve to be happy, and finding someone who will make you truly happy is the best thing that could happen to you. Don't let anyone stand in your way. There is a saying that goes, love doesn't work unless you work it. And that is so true. Love is a feeling, and feelings aren't always easy to get or maintain. Sometimes we may find ourselves feeling love for someone and then feel like we don't deserve that love because of the way we've acted in the past. Or maybe we've been hurt so much in our life that we don't believe we're capable of loving again. But love does exist, and it can be found again, even if it's not easy. The first step in recovering from a broken heart is admitting that you are hurting. Once you have acknowledged that pain, it is easier to start working on fixing the damage that was done. Work on repairing any relationships you have with those who were involved in your breakup, whether they were friends, family members, or romantic partners. Make sure you're communicating honestly and openly with them so that they can understand what happened and why you are struggling. Remember, love isn't something that happens spontaneously. It takes time and effort to build it back up again. But once it's there, it's always worth fighting for. There is no denying that when someone we love leaves us, it can be incredibly difficult to move on. We may feel like we're stuck in a holding pattern, unable to make any progress forward. But reaching out for help is important. Talk to someone who will listen. Whether it's a friend, therapist, or support group, talking about what happened will help processing happen more smoothly. Get involved in activities that make you happy. Once you've started rebuilding your life, it'll be much easier to focus on the things that make you happy. This could mean starting a new hobby, spending time with friends, or going out exploring new surroundings. Also, allow yourself time to mourn the loss. Grieving takes time and shouldn't be rushed. Don't try to do too much at once. Allow yourself plenty of time to process the emotions you're feeling. In today's world, it can be difficult to find lasting love. We are surrounded by so much negativity and destruction that it is hard to find someone who will truly care for us. However, God is saying that love is still out there, waiting for us. He has a plan for our lives and He will guide us to the one who is meant to be ours. Hallelujah.